This show is all about escaping to Mexico. And what that may mean is just escaping from the rat race of your life where you're at. So, Mexico might be Mexico, or it might be your hometown, or it might be another place that you really want to go. And I'm very excited because our guest today is going to help you smash through those mental blocks that stop you from living the life that you want, regardless of where that may be.
Tired of the daily grind? Do you dream of vibrant culture, stunning landscapes, and delicious food? Mexico is waiting. Welcome to Escape to Mexico Now. Your adventure starts right here with us, amigos. Get ready for fun. Join us as we embark on this incredible journey together. Beaches, pyramids, tacos, and freedom. Discover Mexico's beauty, culture, and history. Comment, like, and subscribe now and plan your escape.
All right, welcome everybody. This is Escape to Mexico Now. I'm so excited. Our guest today is the #1 best-selling author of over 25 books, and he has helped Hollywood celebrities, professional athletes, 9-figure CEOs, help them make more in just 12 weeks than they did in the previous 12 months while winning their lives back. And I think that is so important. So often we think, well, I got to really work hard. I got to work 18-hour days in order to achieve my dreams. And then, of course, by the time you achieve your dreams, you're burnt out and you wish you hadn't spent all that time because now you have poor health, your finances are okay, but all your relationships are crap. So with that, I want to welcome to the show Dr. Noah St. John. How are you doing today, Dr. Noah?
Well, I'm thrilled to be here, Scott.
Awesome. Thanks. You're known as the zero friction doctor. What does that mean?
Whenever we are feeling stuck in our lives, in our careers, in our businesses, it is always because of hidden friction. Now, this is something that I've been teaching my clients for over 30 years now. And as a result of helping people using my frameworks, I've helped my clients add over $3 billion collectively over the last 3 decades. And that means I've helped people add multiple 6 figures, 7 figures, and even 8 figures while winning their lives back at the same time. And so the reason I'm known as the zero friction doctor is because I have frameworks and strategies that enable people from all walks of life, whether you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, or whether you're in a career and you work for someone else, to #1, understand that hidden friction, and then #2, to really remove the friction so that you can reach your goals, reach your dreams, and, escape to Mexico much, much faster than you ever could before.
Wow. Awesome. When you're talking about zero friction, what popped in my head was an anchor. People have these anchors that they're dragging along and wondering why it's so hard to move forward.
Well, that's right. The analogy that I like to give is driving a car. So for everyone listening to the program, I want you to think right now about your goals. Now, for those of you listening to the program, I'm sure one of your goals is to travel. That's why you're watching this program right now, right? So whether you want to go to Mexico or you want to go to Italy or Australia or China, wherever you want to go. All right. Mexico is a great example. I've been there many times. It's a beautiful country. The people are so friendly. It's just gorgeous. As you well know, Scott, but wherever it is you like to go. So the #1 goal that my clients have, in fact, is to travel more. That is the #1 goal that people tell me. And then I ask them the next logical question, well, why aren't you doing it? And of course, what do? They give me all the excuses. Oh, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I can't afford it. It's too expensive, and all the things we've heard a million times. So if you think about your goal right now for everyone listening, so let's say you want to take a trip, take a vacation to Mexico in the next 12 months. Boom, that's my goal. Okay, great. So that is your destination, because what is a goal but a destination? That is precisely what it is. Whether it involves travel or not, it's still a goal. Maybe your goal is, I want to get a promotion at work. Well, that's a destination. Maybe your goal is, I want to start or grow my business. That's a destination. Maybe your goal is, I want to lose weight. That's a destination. You see, so any goal you could name is in fact a destination. But here's the thing. Most people are, let's say you're in your car and you're driving down the street to the grocery store. All right. Now that is your destination. You want to go to the grocery store. Well, why do you want to go to the grocery store? Well, I got to pick up some milk and eggs. Okay. That's your destination. And that is why you want to go there, right? That's your purpose. So think about that destination that you want, make more money, travel, lose weight, whatever it is. And then think about why you want that, those two things. But here's the funny thing about goals. And this is what they don't tell us. All right. We've all heard a million times you've got to set your goals. We've heard it a million times. So then why don't most people reach their goals? Well, it's because of what I've been teaching my clients for 30 years and helping them make billions of dollars while winning their lives back. And it is because of this hidden friction. So imagine you're driving in your car right now, going to the grocery store. La, 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 driving along. But you have one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. How long do you think it's going to take you to reach your destination? A long, long time, right?
A lot longer, yeah.
Life with one foot on the brake. And so that is an example of friction. And guess what? For everyone listening to this program, I guarantee you that right now you have hidden friction that I can identify in 30 minutes that will, once we identify it, we can take specific steps to get rid of that hidden friction and thereby reach your goals 10 times faster and easier.
Yeah, self-awareness is so important, right? If you don't know that you don't know, then you're just going to keep doing the same old thing, wondering why you're not getting a better result.
That's right. You know, a lot of people say to me, well, Noah, you know, I've been in business for 10 years and I'm stuck. And I say, you haven't been in business for 10 years. You've been in business for 1 year, 10 times. You're doing the same thing over and over and over again. So you're not learning, you're stagnant, you're stuck. Now, it's not your fault. I'm not putting down people here. The point is, they have been listening to all those gurus out there, and all they tell us is, well, you know, if you're not reaching goals, just work harder, work longer, put in more hours. Thanks a lot. You know, it's like, you know, I'll give you a perfect example. You know, years ago, I realized that I wanted to learn how to play golf, right? Because I'm a lousy golfer and I really wanted to be good at it, you know? And so I was out there and I was just whacking away. You know, I was on the tee at the driving range and I'm whacking away. And I mean, I suck. It is just terrible. And so my wife says to me, well, why don't you just spend more time at the golf range? I said, honey, if I keep practicing lousy habits, I'm just going to, keep being lousy at it. I need some help. Point. And that's so I actually decided to hire a golf coach. And so, you know, he looked at me, he said, okay, well, let's, take a swing right here. You know, let's see what you got. So of course I swung and, worm burner. It was terrible. And so he took it was one swing, right? That's what a good coach will do. They'll just take one look at you and see what the problem is, right? So he looked at me and he said, Noah, you need to open up your club face. And I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I said, what's a club face? He goes, that would be the face of the club face. I go, oh, that makes sense. Duh, right? And so I literally moved it like, 2-3 inches. And whoop, I'm like, oh my God, it went in the air. You know, I've never done that before. You say one little tweak like that, and it made all the difference. So what does this mean for you, for everyone listening? That's what a good coach will do for you. They'll take one look and they'll say, tell me about what's going on. Maybe it only takes 5-10 minutes and boom, we can get amazing results right away.
Right. Actually, I am a golf coach and I can't play the game at all. But the reason that I'm a golf coach is I was a part of a company that was called the Internet Marketing Center for a couple of years, and they had a golf tournament. So in my foursome was a fellow who was absolutely terrible. He would hit the ball and it would go that way or it would go that way.
Right.
And we had seen this for 3 or 4 holes, right? And so we were up on like the 5th or 6th hole and he's getting ready to tee off. And the rest, the foursome ahead of us, his boss was one of them, was on the green. But there was no way he could hit it that far or that direction. Right. So he wasn't about to wait. And he's about to swing. And I almost whisper under my breath, keep your head down. And he did. And the ball hit his boss. It bounced twice, hit her on the back of her calf. And he was like, oh,
Wow.
it was so funny. So you're right. Like if you're with somebody who knows a little bit, who knows a lot about what to do,
Right.
and you don't, they can impart that knowledge very, very easily.
Exactly.
And you can have tremendous results.
Exactly.
Cool. So you're also famous for helping your clients make more. The claim is more in 12 weeks than they made in the previous 12 months. How is that possible?
Well, you're right. It sounds incredible, doesn't it? I mean, just when you hear Noah, is here promising, showing you how you can make more in 12 weeks than you did in the previous 12 months while working less, it sounds impossible. Sounds incredible. And yet, when you go to my website, when you go to noahstjohn.com, that's my name, Noah St. John, go to noahstjohn.com, you'll see literally, there you are, scale without friction, reclaim your life, boom. And you go to the reviews. See the reviews page there, Scott? See the reviews tab? Right there, boom, coaching reviews. Exactly. Now, you will literally see hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews, including from celebrities like Jenny McCarthy, Gary Vaynerchuk, Stephen Covey, Marie Forleo. These are the biggest names in the industry, Jack Canfield, John Assaraf, and many, many more. I mean, there's literally hundreds. And the point is that the reason I'm able to get these incredible results and have these amazing testimonials from the biggest names in the industry is what I've been teaching my clients for over 30 years now. And that is the two elements that create success. And that is the inner game and the outer game. So I want you to picture a very simple Venn diagram. I love Venn diagrams. When you read my books or you take my courses or coaching, you'll see I use Venn diagrams all the time because they tell a really great story. All right, so this is a very simple Venn diagram with the two circles. The first circle is called inner game. Now, inner game is everything that happens between your ears that you can't see directly, but it's affecting everything that you do. For example, as a keynote speaker and a coach, I often give presentations, whether live or virtually, to companies, teams, organizations all across the country and around the world. And one of the things I like to say to my audience members in my keynote speeches is, what's one area of your life where your beliefs don't affect you? And here's what people say. They go, and I go, exactly. There's no place your beliefs don't affect you, right? Your beliefs affect your health, your stress level, your peace of mind. Your beliefs affect your wealth, your money, your income, whether you get that promotion or that raise or not, whether you start or grow your business or sell your business. Your beliefs affect your relationships, right? Your personal, your business, your family life, your friends. There's literally no place in your life where beliefs don't affect you. But here's the funny thing. You can't see a belief. You can only see the effects of a belief. That's why you can be doing really well in one area of your life, but maybe you're stuck or struggling in another. For example, maybe your health is really good. You're feeling really good, got great health, but you're not making the money you want. Or vice versa, right? Maybe you're making great money, but your health is suffering or your relationships are suffering, right? We've heard that a million times. There's a lot of miserable millionaires out there, right? So we don't want to be one of them. We want to be a millionaire, sure, but not miserable. We want to be a happy millionaire, a joyful, a grateful millionaire, right?
That's
so
right.
That's your inner game. So that's the first circle. And then the second circle is outer game. Now, outer game is everything you can see directly. That is the systems, the strategies. Let's say you're a business owner. That's the offers, funnels, traffic, all the marketing and sales and customer service, all of those things that we have to do as business owners every single day. But here's the funny thing. What I have observed in helping my clients add over $3 billion over the last 30 years is that 90% of success is dependent upon your inner game. Let me give you a perfect example of that. I was speaking at a seminar in Los Angeles for 1,000 entrepreneurs. There's 1,000 CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs in the audience. These are multiple 6, 7, and even 8-figure CEOs, founders, very successful group, right? So I was presenting exactly what I'm talking about right now. I was walking off the stage. I just spoken. I walked off the stage and a man came up to me out of the audience and he said to me, Noah, I want to hire you as my coach. You are the coach I've been looking for. Now, I didn't know this man from Adam. Ironically, his name was Adam. True story. You can see it right on that reviews page, right? And many, many others. But my point is that he said to me, he said, I want you to coach me. I said, okay, well, what's going on? And he said, well, Noah, I am a founder of this company and we grew to 7 figures really, really fast, but we have been plateaued at the same level for the past 4 years. We've been stuck at the same level. We can't grow. And he said, I have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on all the marketing, all the sales, all the customer service, all the gurus. He named all the big names in the industry. I've spent so much money, but we can't break through that income ceiling. And he said, as soon as I heard you speak about head trash and foot on the brake, inner game, outer game, everything you just said, he said, I knew you were the coach I've been looking for. So he literally decided to hire me on the spot. That's why I love working with high achievers, right? They make decisions quickly and firmly. Don't dilly-dally. Don't wait. They don't put it off. They do it. So he decided to hire me. I coached him and his leadership team for 18 months. And in that 18 months, we were able to get his company that had been stuck for the previous 4 years to over 20 million in 18 months. That's a 600% increase. Now, most companies would be thrilled with a 10%, a 15% would be like, oh, they'd be over the moon. Try 600%. So, I mean, he literally was texting me. He was lying on the beach, in Monte Carlo. And I was like, you're welcome, So these are examples of how powerful this is once you master your inner game and your outer game.
That's incredible. So one of the things that you've talked about is unconscious habits of highly successful people. Can you expand on that?
Absolutely. So we've all heard about habits, right? There's lots of training books about habits, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Atomic Habits, and things like that. And those are all, good. The problem is that those books and those other trainings are talking about conscious habits, right? Here's what you should do if you want to be more successful. Do what these people do. Oh, they're successful, so do that. We've heard that a million times, right? In fact, when I started, before I ever wrote my first book, when I was just, I grew up poor in a rich neighborhood and I hated being poor. So I went to the library and I read every book on self-help and success. I read over 300 books and they all said basically the same thing, work hard, set your goals, think positive, we all said the same thing, but it didn't work. And I couldn't get it to work for me. And I'm like, what in the heck is going on here? Because I'm doing everything the books say, but I'm not seeing the results. And it wasn't until many years later that I realized, wait a minute, all of these books, trainings, other programs are talking about conscious habits. But what really separates highly successful people from others is their unconscious habits. Let me explain what I mean. So the human mind is like an iceberg. About 5% is visible above the surface. That is our conscious habits, our conscious thoughts. In other words, you know what you're thinking right now. I'm thinking about tacos. I'm thinking about Mexico. I'm thinking about when I can go. I'm thinking about whatever, right? And you know what you're thinking. That's the conscious. But guess what? The vast 95% of the iceberg is below the surface. That's the subconscious mind. So you got 5% above the surface. That's your conscious. Versus 95% in the subconscious. So let me ask you a question. Imagine you were going into battle and you had 5 guys fighting 95 guys. Who do you think is going to win that battle?
There's no doubt the 95 guys.
95, but only every time. So if you're happy with not succeeding, if you're happy with staying stuck, then by all means, keep doing what you're doing. If you're not happy with that, you have to understand exactly what are these subconscious beliefs, habits, and behaviors that I'm carrying around that I don't even know I'm doing. Going back to what I mentioned earlier, that most people are driving down the road of life with one foot on the brake. All your foot on the brake is in the subconscious. That means nobody wakes up in the morning and says this, this looks like a great day. You know what? I think I'll hold myself back from success today. Right? No one has ever said that because it's idiotic. That's a conscious thought. Oh, I think I'll hold myself back from success. Of course you wouldn't say that. Right? Because what are you doing? You're thinking in your conscious mind, well, I got to pay the bills. I got to go to work. I got to shave. I got to get dressed. You're thinking these things and you have these conscious habits, but in the subconscious, you've got all of these, as I call it, head trash. You've got all this head trash that's holding you back. Like Adam, that story I just shared. He didn't know he was doing this. He was banging his head against that ceiling for years because no one had shown him what was going on in his subconscious until I did. I walked him through that process. Boom, 600% increase. You think it works? Yes, it does.
So once you're aware of those unconscious habits, you're able to either change them or adjust them or tweak them so that instead of being the foot on the brake, it's more power on the gas.
That's correct. I'll give you another perfect example. I have a program called the 12-week breakthrough because I'm known for helping people make more than 12 weeks than they did in the previous 12 months. So we call it that, the 12-week breakthrough, right? I help you make more than 12 weeks than you did in the last 12 months while winning your life back. So we had one client who came to us. Her name's Tamisa. She's a business owner in Arizona. Now, she was doing well, making six figures, but she was what she called, this is her words, a seminar junkie. She was going to all the seminars, right? Running around all the seminars. Boom, there you are right there, right? Your next million feels harder than your first. So she was going to all the seminars, but she kept hitting that revenue ceiling, right? Kept hitting that ceiling. Boom, there you go. It feels like pushing a boulder uphill. And so no matter what she tried, couldn't break through that ceiling. So she joined my 12-week breakthrough. And in the first 2 weeks of coaching with me, she tripled her investment, a 300% ROI in 2 weeks. We hadn't even gotten to the money part yet. This was just by me showing her all of her unconscious foot on the brake, all the head trash, as I call it, that she'd been carrying around all these years. Boom, you take out the trash and whammo, 300% ROI. So these are specific real life stories, real examples. And what I always say to people is, if it worked for them, why not you? If it worked for them, why not you? And the reason I say that is very simple, because guess what your head trash is saying right now? Oh yeah, sure, it worked for them, but it won't work for me. You know what that is? That's what I've been talking about this whole time. That is your head trash. That is the reason you're not going to Mexico. That's the reason you're not growing. That's the very reason you're staying stuck, is because you believe, oh, sure, it'll work for them, but it won't work for me. Guess what? You're right. Why do you want to be right about staying stuck? Oh, that's right, because it's safer to stay stuck, even when you complain about it, right?
Yeah,
I know I'm being very blunt here, but I'm doing that on purpose. I'm pushing people's buttons because I want you to realize you have so much more power than you think. You are the thing that is keeping you stuck. Now, of course, you're not doing this on purpose. I get that, but it doesn't matter. All right. So as you can see, I'm very passionate about helping people, number one, understand their head trash, and number two, get their foot off the brake. So number three, they can reach their goals 10 times faster and easier.
So this is all really good, Dr. Noah, but we all know that it all comes down to willpower. We just need to have more willpower, right?
Wrong. that was a setup question, Scott. Well done. Yeah, no, that's not right. No, I'm very passionate about this too, about why willpower is a very terrible way to try to change a habit. Now, let's look at this. All right, we've all been told a million times, hey man, if you want to change a habit, you just need willpower. Let's take a classic habit, procrastination, right? That's the number one habit that people come to me wanting to change, fix, and adapt, right? Oh, no, I know what to do, but I'm just not doing it. No kidding. Okay. I've only heard that a million times. All right. So what are you doing? You're procrastinating. What does procrastination mean? It means you're putting off till tomorrow what you should have done 3 weeks ago. Okay. Now, what do they say? What do the gurus say? Well, all you have to do, hey man, if you're procrastinating, Scott, just use your willpower. Come on, grit your teeth and work hard. Come on, let's do it. Yeah, that's great, man. That's so helpful. You know, it's like, hey, if you're driving down the road with one foot on the brake, just go ahead.
Take it off.
I mean, what? Hello? You know, you see, it's idiotic when I say it like this. I'm like, hello, but that's what they're all doing. So what I do that's different is very simple. I say, look, what are you doing? You're procrastinating. Why? Because you're scared. What are you scared of? Well, okay, now that's where it gets a little different. Now, everybody's got different fears, right? I'll give you a perfect example, right? The number one fear of adults is public speaking, right? We've all heard that probably, right? You know that fear of public speaking is the number one fear of adults in North America. The fear of death is number 6. So most people would rather die 5 times than speak in public.
Yeah, I didn't know it was number 6.
Yeah, that was crazy. But anyway, my point is, so let's say, you know, you are afraid to speak in public. But how's that showing up? Maybe, let's say you're a business owner, you have to do videos, you have to do blog posts, you have to put out content. That's a thing we've heard a million times too. Oh, I got to put out content. I don't want to show my face on camera. You know what? I think I'll go watch Netflix. There you go. Boom. You just did a great job procrastinating. Well done. But guess what? You watching Netflix isn't making you that thing called money. Last time I checked. All right. It's making Netflix money, but not you. I'd rather see you make money. Netflix has plenty of money. All right. So what are you doing? Well, you're procrastinating because of that fear. What we have to do is we have to understand what that fear really comes from. Did you know what the fear of public speaking really is? It's a fear of humiliation. It's a fear of being banished from the tribe. That's what it goes back thousands of years to when we humans were tribal animals. We're still tribal animals. Right. If you haven't noticed, we've heard that phrase, birds of a feather flock together. We're tribal animals. So we're scared. What if I get on stage and I look like an idiot? What if I do a video and people make fun of me? Boom, there's your subconscious fear. I did it in 30 seconds. Okay, well, let's do it. And you say, but no, I'm still scared. Of course you're scared. Guess what? Your first video is going to suck. Your second video is going to suck. Your 10th video is going to suck. By the 20th, maybe you're okay. If you want to get motivated, go to my YouTube channel and watch some of my earlier videos. They totally suck, but you have to go through that sucky phase to get good. That's what most people won't do. They're not willing to go through that sucky phase to get to the good phase. So do that. If you're procrastinating right now, and that's just one simple example of how you can overcome this really very, very costly habit that you're doing without using willpower.
Yeah, that's really, really an important point. What I'd like to do now is get you to talk a little bit about your legendary freedom lifestyle formula and what that is. And I actually have a lower third. I thought that was such a good term.
Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. Well, it's actually very simple. When you go to noahstjohn.com and you can see my books like Power Habits, and Power Habits Academy is my online course. And again, you were already on that page for the revenue ceiling audit. That's what, if you go to breakthroughwithnoah.com, that's what I have is a revenue ceiling audit, right? Remember like Adam I was talking about earlier, right? That's what I showed him is why he's hitting. That's Power Habits Academy right there. And right there, that's an online course where I walk you through my freedom lifestyle formula. All right. So again, I'm telling you to stop faking fine, right? Oh, I'm fine. No, you're not. No, you're stuck. Stop faking it, right? That's powerhabitsacademy.com is right there. And that's what I give you. So freedom lifestyle formula, 4 elements, very easy to remember: time, energy, relationships, and money. All right. So when you have an abundance of those 4 elements of my freedom lifestyle formula, you're living a freedom lifestyle. So very simply, time. Why is time the most important element? Because we don't get any more, right? All of Bill Gates' billions can't buy 1 minute of yesterday. So yes, you have the time. That's the number one excuse people have for not reaching their goals. Oh, I want to go to Mexico, but I can't do it because I don't have the time. Boom, I show you how to get more time. So you can rate yourself right now. Everybody listening to this program can do this right now. Rate yourself 1 to 10. How abundant or stuck do you feel in time? Next is energy, right? Energy. That means how do you go through your day, right? There's 2 forms of energy, positive and negative. Right? Positive is, of course, happy, joyful, grateful. That's the positive kind of energy. We all know what it's like to be around positive people, right? And of course, we also know what it's like to be around negative people. Isn't that funny? We use those terms because we humans are magnets. We literally are magnets. This isn't woo-woo, mumbo-jumbo. This is science, right? So we've all been, you go into a room and that person is there and they're like magnetic, literally. And they're like, oh, and it's not necessarily they're attractive looking. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but there's just something about their energy. Meanwhile, there's other people like, ooh, maybe I'll go that way, So the negative energy, we don't want to be that person, of course, right? So rate yourself. How am I doing? How am I doing in energy? Do I feel good or not so hot, right? Next is relationships, right? So relationships, like I talked about earlier, very, very important, right? So rate yourself 1 to 10 on how you are doing in your relationships. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So look at those 5 people around you, go, I don't know if I want to hang around these people or not, Maybe you might want to get some new friends, right? We call that leveraging mentorship, right? Upgrading your network. We give you a network upgrade, right? You might want to hang around people who are more positive. Maybe, you're in an environment with some negative people. That's something you really want to look at and, take steps to fix if necessary. And of course, money. That's the final one. That's the final element. Time, energy, relationships, and money. All right. So money is very important. People who say, oh, but money doesn't buy happiness. Well, what I would say is I quote the great philosopher David Lee Roth, who famously said, money may not be able to buy happiness, but it can buy a yacht so you can pull right up next to it. So the point is, yes, of course, money is important. It's very, very important. Growing up poor in a rich neighborhood, I know firsthand that not having money sucks. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing good about being poor, and nothing good about a poverty consciousness, which is much worse. Because, if you're broke right now, that's different than being poor. Being poor is a state of mind, right? Being broke is a state of finances. That can be fixed. But a poverty consciousness, that's something we have to really get in there. Believe me, I had to do 30 years of work on myself to fix my poverty consciousness. I can teach you how to do it in 12 weeks or less.
Awesome. You have a zero friction gap audit.
That's right.
And I believe that's at your website.
That's at zerofrictionceo.com. So that's for people who are in business right now and want to remove that hidden friction that I was talking about earlier, your foot on the brake. So most business owners, entrepreneurs, but also just people in general are driving down the road of life with one foot on the brake. So we've got to, number one, identify where is that friction. Number two, where did it come from? And number three, of course, takes specific concerted action to get your foot off the brake so you can release the brakes and get that hockey stick growth that I've been talking about. So that's zerofrictionceo.com, or just go to noahstjohn.com. It's also right there on the homepage.
Okay, great. Well, and part of my career as a online person has been copywriting. And one of the things that I tell all the people that I'm writing copy for and myself is you need a big promise. And I don't know what could be bigger than changing everything in 12 weeks. I mean, that's a, pretty big promise. So that's awesome. Yeah. And I think that gets people really excited.
Well, what's more important is I've got proof. People can say anything they want, right?
It works.
But I've got proof times 1,000. All right. So that's why I said it's funny that you mentioned that, Scott, because it actually took me a few years to come up with that phrase, because I actually have been helping people doing this for years and years and years. And then I look back and I went, wait a minute, my clients are making more in 12 weeks than in the previous year. Why don't we call it that? Great idea. So it's funny because I didn't start out saying it that way, but it just happened as a result of all the client results that I've gotten over the years. I can't hear you right now, Bruce. Scott, excuse me. I don't know what happened. I can't hear you. We lost your audio, I think.
I muted myself because of the dog. I'm sorry. So where can we find the audit?
Okay, just scroll down on the page there. You're on noahstjohn.com. Boom, there it is right there. See, right there. So you got three paths. We have the Zero Friction CEO, which is their zero friction audit. Then we also do AI. So we have an AI visible scorecard. We have the done for you service to get you visible on AI. I'm sure everybody knows how important AI is right now. And we also build bots for people, believe it or not. So those are three things you can do. But if you go all the way up to the top, you'll see all the different things under advisory. Yep, there you are. Boom. And there you can get the audit right there. It's literally just answering 12 questions about where is the friction in your life. But you see under advisory and shop, those are all the different courses that we have. There's the different paths you can take. So really, we have tons of resources for you.
That's really awesome.
Thank you.
So we're coming to the end of our time, and I want to thank you for your generous generosity on being on the show and sharing this knowledge with our audience. And I wanted to ask you if there was any last words, parting comments that you'd like to make.
Do whatever you have to do to take out your head trash. Do not let your head trash push you around anymore. I want to see all of you in Mexico in the next 12 months. And I can certainly help you literally make more in the next 12 weeks than you did in the last 12 months. Go to the website, as Scott was just showing us, noahstjohn.com or breakthroughwithnoah.com. And I'd love to help all of your listeners as well.
Thank you, Dr. Noah. Really appreciate having you on. Thanks for joining us, everybody. This has been Escape to Mexico Now, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.